we really wanted a committee now for the coming years, which could be very, very proactive and move forward decisively to ensure that number one, we get accredited with the Mediation Council whenever that is made, and two, that we have a clear idea of how to ensure more work to the center and more outreach from the center, both. I mean, work has to come, but equally mediation has to have such a good outreach in the corporate world that and the community at large, so that it is seen with a great deal of respect, and it is the preferred forum for all dispute resolution. So today, I think all of us know where we want to go, but I would love to hear from each of you on how and what should be our goals for the committee and how we should go about achieving them. So Farida, since you're going to go away soon,
No, Tanu, I don't think. Okay. So the client's already here. I just got the call. So I will, in fact, they're just climbing up. So, okay, so I will just log out. Sorry.
All right.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry.
Hello.
I've been there for the past 15 minutes, but in another meeting, so trying to balance both.
All right. Welcome. You heard me, so we are ready to go ahead with everyone's this. I think, Ms. Lal, if you are in a good space now, you could start.
Yeah. So certain thoughts, because Tanu, I was not really prepared to for this question, but whatever immediately comes to my mind, let me share that. So you see, one is that corporate has to be inspired to mediate more and more and close the issues that they might be having. But the worrisome part here is that government is not ready to mediate, and large part of the disputes, as we know, 80% of litigation in India is owing to a government function. So either it is revenue demands or commercial disputes, but owing to the fact that how the systems would function. So therefore, how does one make that happen? Possibly if there can be some thresholds created at the government level, or some schemes which can come in, just like amnesty schemes are brought in from time to time. Similarly, if there can be some schemes brought in by the government to give some kind of immunity to the departments up to a threshold, to say that whatever decision they will take, that will be binding on the government, that will really inspire the government versus corporate India litigation to move into mediation. This is one point that I wish to share. And the other point is that with the Data Protection Act having come in, of course, it's not fully in force and it can't be enforced till the time the rules have been enacted. But the data protection space will see a lot of unitary issues in which there can be an online mediation facility created. So like you have on consumer laws, like you have the online dispute resolution mechanism, similarly on data protection laws, there ought to be a mediation facility. So these are my 2 points to begin with. And then as the discussion rolls, whatever comes to my mind, I'll keep sharing.
Okay. Thank you. I am sorry, but is everyone known to everybody, Neha? If not, then I think everyone needs to. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that was already done. So I think then introductions are in order before we even start talking to each other. So let's start introductions. I'll start with me. I'm Tanu Mehta. I've been in the legal profession for the last 26 years, with mediation specifically for about 11 years now. I've had different roles in the mediator capacity. I mean, legal capacity, you end up doing everything all the time. But in the mediating capacity, I've been a mediator. I've been a content developer. I've been in academics, I've been in non-academic training too. And generally, I think I've had a hand in a lot of pies at a lot of time. I founded a couple of mediation organizations. I've been one of the mentors of India's first dispute resolution company. So just a little bit everywhere. Thanks. Yeah. Next, Manish, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, good afternoon, good evening to all. This is Advocate Manish Asarkar. I am based out of Navi Mumbai, and I focused on, as Tanu may be aware of, on MSME and emerging companies, specifically who are operating from the industrial belt of Thane Belapur industrial area till Pune. And so, about me, I am coming from corporate. Almost 25 years I was with various companies as a in-house counsel, and 4 years back I have started on my own as a corporate lawyer and mediator. So I am on the panel of High Court and all subordinate courts along with CMC as a mediator. And I try to work with companies to provide them legal as well as dispute resolution support. And I see ample opportunity what CMC can look for in coming year is to work with trade associations around Maharashtra, not only in Mumbai nearby, but Pune and even Aurangabad and other where after passing of Mediation Act, I'm sure they would require a platform where they can actually explore possibilities of their member coming to resolve the issues what they have. So it requires some work, but I think that is doable provided we do a consistent work on that line. Thank you.
Thanks. Nasir, welcome. We are just on introductions right now, so you're in time.
Hi, Tanu, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My turn?
Molly?
No, okay.
No, all right. Molly, would you like to go next?
Yeah, hello. So, am I audible to all of you? Yeah. So, yeah, as Tanu ma'am suggests, I am Maulik Vyas. I am actually a journalist with Economic Times. I write on corporate affairs and legal for Economic Times, and it's been almost 15 years that I'm a journalist. And when I joined the course, which was actually designed by Tanu ma'am at NLU, that is where it was my first, introduction to the mediation and mediation process as a professional. And since then, earlier I was curious. Now I'm one of the proponent of the entire process, where I feel personally that if the parties themselves resolve dispute on their own, uh, as a journalist, I would see that as a better society, and that's why I thought, if whatever I can contribute from my end, I would like to do that. And since Neha and Tanu ma'am gave me this opportunity to be on this platform, I think I'll try to, with best of my abilities, to do whatever I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks for joining in too. Ganda, would you like to go next?
Thank you. I'm Gandha. I am a lawyer and a mediator. My background is corporate law. I practiced for about, I started with high court practice, then went on to corporate practice. I was an in-house counsel for close to 12 years. And then I quit to do full-time work as a mediator. That was about 9 years back. And so for the past 9 years, I've been a mediator. I started off with doing a little bit of court-annexed work. And then I do some trainings along with Tanu. And I also teach at MNLU and some other colleges. And and now I also take up a little bit of private work. So primarily completely focused on mediation. And yeah, thank you for inviting me to the committee.
Thanks, Nanda. Meena ji?
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Meena Lal. I am the Chief Legal Officer at Tata Steel. I started my career as a practitioner in High Court, Madhya Pradesh, after which I had to move to Jamshedpur, and that's where I got this opportunity. So since 1990, I'm with Tata Steel, and I've handled a large bucket of work, which is a lot of variety in every field of, practically in every field of law, that is A to Z as I call it. Each and every act perhaps is required like a corporate like Tata Steel, which is so expanded. And one has worked on various matters with various councils, and basically as an in-house played a very important advisory role. Now that I thought that I could expand myself into other areas, so I picked up this course of mediation with which was taken by Gandha and other members on the team. So thank you for inviting me on the committee. And that's how I'm here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is Sandeep still there? And Neha, would you like to? Nasir is here. So Nasir, go ahead next.
My name is Nasir. Professionally, I'm in the corporate world. So started off as a hotelier, so spent a good 2.5 decades in hotels, and moved into the world of education and wellness, and also a little bit into media, where I'm the associate editor with Pune Mirror and Civic Times Mirror in Pune, and the group CEO for Lexicon Group. So mediation has been something that I've always kind of enjoyed and been passionate about, but not in the formal legal perspective, but wherever there were conflicts, be it in the hotel industry, between two parties in the corporate world, in media today, when you write something, somebody's definitely going to get offended. So rather than seeing those things going into legal courtrooms, how do you kind of get two parties on the table and mediate and get that resolved? So the formal brush with mediation happened as Fabulous First, the first batch that did the course at MNLU, along with Tanu, and under our guidance, we kind of learned that bit. And it's been something that I enjoy, and I'm honored, Tanu, to be part of this August group who's kind of going to take this forward. So thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to collaborating and working with others. A big scope that I see, specifically in Pune and Mumbai, is with the corporate world, where, we can create a lot of awareness sessions through panels, through different ways, roundtables that we can do, where we get the necessary people onto the right platform and make them aware on how mediation can save them hours of time and tons of money from a perspective if they're willing to get onto the table and talk. So yeah, that's where an opportunity sits. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nasir. And we see Ekta joining. Great. Ekta, just at the right time when introductions, you're the last one to enter and the first and the last one to introduce yourself before we jump into our meeting.
So hi, I'm Ekta. I'm somebody probably not from Mumbai. So I sit out of Hyderabad. And I'm a transactional lawyer and also a mediator, largely commercial issues. So I don't know how elaborate the introductions have been. And so I think that sums up what I do as a profession.
All right. Thank you. First of all, again, as I said, thank you all for joining the team. And while all of you did say, good, you're feeling very privileged to be part of the team. I think between Neha, me, and Sandeep ji, we are pretty clear we are going to be very hard drivers of the team, because we want CMC now to really move fast and forward and work very, very proactively to ensure that mediation is not cornered only, by the judiciary, like it happened in arbitration, that mediation becomes an all-encompassing dispute resolution mechanism. And we in CMC should promote it amongst all sectors. So, there's always what we say, the first mover advantage. And we should be those first movers which are able to take mediation as a concept to every corner, whether industry, whether community, basically go forward, tell people what it is, and be able to garner their attention and garner their interest in sending or referring matters to CMC for mediation. All right. So with this, now Meena ji already said what she thinks has to be done. And just to quickly summarize, would you like to summarize, Neha? You took down her points, the two things that she said.
Yes. So Meena madam mentioned how the government is currently not included in the Mediation Act. And if there is an option of probably speaking with them regarding some amnesty schemes or a threshold where maybe some particular matters can be mediated. So from what I understand, probably we can put up some sort of a representation to particular ministries. That's a work that we can do. And secondly, she mentioned about the Data Protection Act, a possibility of ODI facilities there. So again, that's another representation that we can work on.
Yeah. So on both those fronts, luckily we have done some work. Meena ji, right now I'm in talks with the state of Maharashtra, government legal department, about framing of rules under the Mediation Act, because each state also gets the right to frame their rules, right? And I'm in talk with both. So legal department has an opinion department, a drafting department, and of course the litigation department. I'm in talks with both the drafting and the opinion making department. Okay. And they have opened to the idea that, we should, in fact, they asked if we can help them draft the correct rules. So my suggestion is, while I'm talking to them, and whenever they start drafting, I'm happy to share points with them. So if one of us can take the responsibility of, as a team, you could, 2-3 of you could get together. Farida is very good at that. So if 2 or 3 of you could get there together and have an ideal draft rule for the state of Maharashtra for now, okay, it's just an ideal, it's just a suggestion. But when you give a draft to a draftsman, it becomes easier for them to adopt. Even judges say, "Humko synopsis de do," then they draft the order, because they know, half the work is done when all the synopsis is written and the paragraphs made. So, let's work on it. If 2-3 of you could get together and see, even if you cannot draft full rules, if you can draft 4 or 5 absolutely important points that need to come. For example, today I told her, when I was talking with her, I told her that one thing that you'll have to make different in the mediation rules is, you'll have, in the government itself, you'll have to designate officers who can sign off an agreement. Because the government, I just completed a mediation with the government entity, and there, though the assistant collector agreed to settle, he had to sign off right from the chief secretary. So the assistant collector had to go to the collector. The collector did not sign till he got a phone call from the chief secretary's office that, all right, it's okay, sign it off and close it. So we'll have to have them designate, officers in each department, whoever their head officer is, to sign off, because once signed off, then the consent happens. If they are going to wait every time for the chief secretary to sign off, it's never going to happen. So this is just one thing, but otherwise somebody has to take this, just form a team and give me draft rules. We will start, presenting it to them. Ekta, you wanted to say something.
See, the other thing is, if you look at the government machinery, we'll have, as private players, we'll say, this should happen, that should happen. And if we have those kind of rules, it'll never get approved as well. So one is from the administrative rules in terms of how they existing, because even today without mediation, if there's a proposal for settlement that has to go through, when does it and how does it get approved? What are the authority and power each department has? So we can get some sense from the government, or if there are people who do administrative law and they have that sense, and we devise rules around it, the chance of those rules getting implemented and adopted quickly is much higher, rather than doing something which is a huge wish list and the government says, "Ye to hamara hoga hi nahi."
No, so we had a lovely talk around that 2-hour discussion with senior Mantralaya officials today, and in fact, some time back also. And the answer that's coming is even somebody at the secretary level will never say yes, because there have been enough instances where somebody has been questioned.
Yeah, CAG,
so
that's
cases.
Correct. Which is why I said that.
Not the CAG. Even another officer who's come in that place said, "Who gave you the authority?" And it went into inquiry. So unless there is a specific rule granting them that authority, they're not going to do it, because they are getting transferred every 3 years and they don't want any question mark on their list.
No, which is there.
Rule will have to be specific that X level, joint secretary level, blah, blah, blah. We can, it's a wish list, but we can at least present it to them. They are convinced of and of the view that yes, somebody will have to be the designated officer in every department.
Which is also there in the Act. The Act also says prior approval of the government is required. So that approval is okay. But, when they can settle, how much they could settle, like even in a, unless it's a committee of people, they're not going to sit and settle for something which is 50% less just like that. So there may be machinery, rules, etc., which might be in existence, which we can also sort of supplement and saying, you already have that, isi ko build in karo.
So I think 2-3 of you can get to it, whatever you want. I'll work towards it because I'm in talks with them, but I think we should start doing that right away. At least make, a small little, have a small little draft ready for them, that this is the kind of rules that we'd like to see. Meena ji?
Sorry, it was not being unmuted. So what I want to say is, as far as the government working is concerned, I am fully conscious of this aspect that, they will always. So firstly, they will have to be provided immunity. One is, even though the rules will specifically say something, but the rules also have to say that such officers will be provided the immunity from whatever inquiries, because people have in their official capacity taken decisions with approvals, yet faced inquiries after their retirement. So that should not be on. That is number one. As a model, some of the states should actually take up in a manner of bringing in a scheme. So if there is a scheme brought in, scheme will give force and impetus to the rules themselves. And within that scheme, within that threshold, and within that period, if any matters can be settled through mediation, people should start making that attempt. Some governments, if they did that, they brought in an amnesty scheme like this, they would have tested it. The other governments can follow, the other governments will get inspired. And once tested and it has a result, then the governments can consecutively also apply. This is what I want to say. Because otherwise, you will keep getting caught in who the designated authority should be and how much should be the threshold. So according to me, it has to be scheme based. So let's say today they keep the threshold of 2 lakhs. Tomorrow they can increase the threshold to 5 lakhs or 20 lakhs, whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It can be progressive and scheme based.
Absolutely. Point taken. So amongst you, who'd like to have this team and build on this, make a model draft, including these points, and, just kind of tap onto everybody's shoulder and say, all right, what can come? I think
so my recommendation,
yes.
My recommendation, if you ask my recommendation, it should be Ekta who should be taking the lead.
Okay.
I can support because I have a lot of things at hand right now which are open and at the peak. So therefore, I'm not volunteering to take the frontal role. And because
I was gonna say the same thing because of the kind of volume of work. I'd be happy to help someone put together a draft, but I'm not in Mumbai. So one is, from the access to departments to get information or even local policies, I don't have the bandwidth to sit and say, okay, fine, now let's get this out. But once the drafting is to be done, I can, actively get involved in the drafting bit. But bandwidth is an issue when it comes to, putting together too much upfront.
Yeah,
May I
same.
recommend something?
In fact, I'm also not in Mumbai. I'm also operating from Delhi. So I'm really unsure.
Not all of us are in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Nasir. Yes.
What I
Yeah.
recommend is I can consolidate it. If everybody can put their points together, share it.
Nasir, can I interject for a moment? Nasir, I'm extremely sorry. Tanu, I will have to step out because I've reached the airport. I have to get off and for the flight.
Yes, yes. Thank you, though. Thank you for your.
Thank you. Thank you all. All the best, and I'll catch up. Bye. Bye.
So I don't have the expertise to talk of the laws and what it is, but I can consolidate it if all the concerned people who have the expertise can share it. And from the layman perspective or as a mediator, what I would like to see, I can put that in. So that I could do if that works. Because I think everybody will have their bit, but everybody will have ideas. So we can have that coming in, overlapping points can be cleaned off, and we can get that done.
I think if Farida was here, she'd have right away said, because Farida is good and she, keeps, she in fact drafts a lot of stuff all the time. So Neha, why don't you talk with Farida?
See, legislative drafting I can help with.
Yeah.
Legislative drafting I can do. That's not a problem. But my only thing is that, when and with the government, the biggest...
I'm not saying you have to do it alone. Like somebody.
No. I'm saying the biggest thing is...
on to you. Yeah.
No, the first thing is, getting information from the Mantralayam saying that, how are we going to get, what is it going to fly? Because we can have a wish list saying that, give them immunity, give them this thing. But a lot of things will not work because, there are other statutes, so, and if you're doing a scheme, then how do you look at a scheme within that, within the threshold of the law? So do you want to make it very open-ended that says that amnesty, or it'll be only scheme-based mediation? Which means that if there's no scheme, they cannot mediate, because not everything will work in a scheme, right? So, suppose there's a government contract, and there could be infrastructure projects. So if there's a dispute there and you want to mediate, then do you form a committee for each of those things? How do they look at those workings? And there are different departments, and different departments will work very differently.
So, Ganga, you were saying something.
What I suggest, because as Ekta is saying, this is going to be quite complex. And at the same time, we are going to have an opportunity, if Tanu is interacting with them regularly, for them to give us a feedback in terms of what's happening with the drafting also. So we start working on what our wish list is in the beginning, and then see how we can, find out how that's going to work when we actually put it into the system. So maybe we can start off with that and then then get into the drafting. Like as Tanu said, we want a few points to start interacting with them in the beginning. Is that okay, Tanu?
Yeah. I see. I don't think we should right now think of what will not work. Okay. Right now we have to present, let's say, a draft. Okay. They will come back and say, this will not work, this will work, this will not work. And if this has to work, we need 5 more qualifications to this clause. We work a second level then, but at least we have to start. We cannot preempt by thinking that, oh, they will say this, so I have to say this. We have to go straight from where we are.
No, but if they have existing admin rules, okay, which are saying that sometimes they say, acha, if there's a settlement made and approved by so and so.
So okay, that's where Farida will help, because Farida is a solicitor who researches all the existing, amendments, rules, notifications, where there is settlement, what has adopted, etc. That's why I'm saying, let Farida build her team to give her what needs to be done. And of course, she has freedom to talk to any one of us and start, putting it down. So Farida and Gandha, if you could both work on this.
And I'll help with that as well.
And we take the,
Of course.
Yeah.
Also, the thing is, we should also watch out for, do we have connects with the central ministry? Because the government of India might also come with regulations. So we have a sense of how that
as
is.
CMC, we are going to try doing that. We are going to try meet the law secretary. So that is on the agenda. For that also, once we set up the meeting, then we'll start looking at, what are the rules that they want to.
We should ask JP if he has any insights on that. Because JP is part of the committee.
CMC as a chamber, not CMC, Bombay Chamber of Commerce is going to pursue that. So
I'm saying because JP is on the committee for drafting the rules. That's why.
Okay. All right.
So I'm saying, so whether he'll have any insights, so he can even get CMC to meet somebody.
Yes. So Neha, you can take that down, right? And because Bombay Chamber of Commerce is already trying to get in touch with the central ministry. So that should be.
Yeah, because JP and Mr. Panchu both are on the committee. So.
Okay. All right. Good. On the other point that Ms. Lal said, the data protection. So Farida and I have already drafted a sort of article, okay, on the Data Protection Act, where we have tried to point out that for a lot of things, mediation might be the ideal answer, because there's just so much of movement in the technology world. It's so fast that getting even a stay order could be too long. You get a stay order in 24 hours. Within that time, data has moved from one place to the other. So, mediation could be the only thing, at certain times that could work right away. So, yeah, we'll finalize the article. I'll send it both to Maulik and Nasir. See what y'all can do, see how y'all can promote it. And that article can go, with something about CMC, so that people are educated that there is a center like CMC which could be referred to for thank you. Yeah. So I think we'll send this article within 15-20 days. I already have the draft. We'll just improvise on it. All right. Yeah. Next. What would you like to discuss next? Would one of you like to, like Meena ji did, would you like to say, raise some point that we must focus on?
I think I'm going to take on Manish's point on awareness and, tapping into the trade bodies. I think that is something where there is some scope going beyond the courts and going to, where parties can approach us directly, or we can support bodies to do the work rather than just having coming from the courts. So that's, if we can have more discussion and ideas on that, that's a project that's something that we can do. Yes, LSM.
Yeah, actually, Tanu and Gandha, what I mentioned, and even last time during our last committee also, where Tanu was there, we had a discussion over MSME. I think Gandha, you were also there, if I remember correctly. What I suggest that there are trade associations in Pune and going ahead also, and then there is a great amount of need where we have to go to them, create awareness. For that matter, just there is no harm in sharing with you. Last week I went to MIT Pune for some legal work, and MIT Pune has, in principle, their dean of law school has in principle shown interest that yes, they are willing to work on creation of or establishing a mediation center in Pune, which they would like to work on a commercial basis. So there actually I think we can approach them, and which I have already told them that yes, CMC, we can have a chat with CMC on that, and jointly we can work on association, because we have all infrastructure. We have a platform, we have a rules, everything is set for as far as CMC is concerned. Now, this will have two objectives. One, it's a business development for us where we are crossing the boundaries of Mumbai and uh, getting into Pune, city like Pune, where there is a lot of corporates and industrial houses, they are operating from there, and there is a need, there is a good amount of business in that. And MIT being a educational institution and having good hold in Pune and area near to it, I am sure that we have to take up this seriously with the dean, and we have to maybe proactively write to them based on my discussion that let's have a joint discussion on that. How do we take a steps in the direction of um, setting up a center there? And if required, I think they are willing to involve Mr. Karad also, son of Mr. Karad, who has actually in principle shown interest to have a mediation center there. So I think likewise there are trade associations or chamber of commerces in Aurangabad. In Aurangabad also many industrial establishments are there, MSME units are there where see earlier situation was different. It is now we have a law. So when we are approaching them with the backing of law, number one, and the infrastructure what we have, platform what we have, it would certainly make a difference. It would be more appealing to them that okay, somebody with all this infrastructure is approaching us, then why not to do that actually? I think we should do this from more on a business development point of view. Any comments, Tanu?
Yeah, excellent idea. Excellent idea. Bombay Chamber of Commerce is already thinking how to have this outreach with different organizations. And I think it makes far more sense if we have very good, generous terms of association with us. Because eventually everyone can't set up their own infrastructure. And for everyone to compete, forget about competing, for everyone to apply for accreditation, if everyone tries that, then they'll have to show so much of work effectively for the past so many years. So if they are part of a larger chamber like the Bombay Chamber of Commerce, and then they have their independence, they have their own ways of ensuring that the matters that go there, they have to be very good terms of association which give them both a respectable way of functioning on their own, and at the same time give us the ability to intervene if things go wrong. So yes, I think we should do it. In fact, Manish, if you could look at our Neha, we have our rules of association. We just have rules of empanelment as of now.
Yes, ma'am.
Within that empanelment, we should also create rules of association of other, smaller chambers, and then have a large unit where Bombay Chamber, CMC is the parent mediation center, and all these, local mediation centers can.
Yeah, just to add, Tanu, in Pune, I understand ILS have some mediation center, arbitration or mediation center. That's what I understand, yes. ILS. Yes. But I would think that if we move fast with any other Chamber of Commerce or MIT for that matter, I think we would get some advantage in Pune because I am not sure about how active ILS arbitration and mediation centers. I'm not sure about that because there are few professors who are coming from ILS who are working with MIT. So they said, okay, चल रहा है उनका ठीक है मतलब इतना कोई aggressively नहीं है वो लोग.
Yeah, the arbitration is doing very well in terms of the cases, number of cases and things. But mediation is yet to pick up. That's right.
Yeah.
Tanu, there is so we run a center of MSME excellence back through our institute, where what we've done is because of limitation of geography, we've got franchisees that we are setting up as chapters across the country. So where we charge, so from a revenue model perspective, CMC being the base, you open chapters. So MIT could be a chapter, and we open chapters across different cities. So there is a fixed fee coming in for kind of coming on board, and then a percentage of revenue. So that can be built in into whatever our module is. So we could do that as one of the things, and that will both because we are adding value in terms of infra knowledge, all the details, intellectual property, and they're getting the business. So we get a certain percentage every time, and we also get the base amount. So yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, I said yes. That sounds good. That sounds good. So Neha, you can possibly work with both Manish and Nasir and help in have these rules. But more than that, I mean, first is the outreach, that we tell them that we have a center, but the center can back you completely. It doesn't mean that you have to come here and refer all your cases here. You can be associated with the center, run it with whatever facilities you have. We can back you up with our resource people, our mediators, our information, our connection, and then you go ahead and it all adds up to the whole profile of the center. Second, let's not forget that I'm not very sure whether academic institutes will get the right to be revenue model for mediation centers. It's not possible.
No, you can. I'll tell you how, Tanu.
Can?
I'll tell you how. What they need to do is they need to set up an LLP under the aegis of the institution, whose purpose is to give students the advantage of industry academia experience, and then they have the LLP out there, which is for profit, and they can do it. So my Center of MSME Excellence is exactly through that.
Okay.
But for that, we need to have our model ready before
Yes.
we go to or before we approach such bodies or association. That what would be the terms on which we would like to go ahead with this actually.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
association or
So we should get that ready and going.
Yeah.
So Nasir and Manish, you'd work on this with Neha, please.
Yeah. Do
An
that.
ideal.
I share a draft of what we did in a way for the MSME Excellence Center.
Yeah.
So we can use that as a base and maybe pick it up, Manisha. I'll connect with you.
Yeah, sure, of course, we'll do.
Perfect. Perfect. So Neha, that's your second to go. Anything else that we need to discuss? So right now, one, we are reaching out via articles. So number one, data protection and whatever other articles we can. I think that is number one, because awareness will not come without general public, reading about mediation every now and then. Okay. So whether it's a success story, I think Nasir has a lot of success stories now. So, whether you're sharing a little anecdote, whether you're writing an article on the need for mediation in a particular sector, whether you're dissecting something, whether you're opining something, let's have that going continuously. And Maulik, wherever you can help us, wherever it goes, I mean, from a small paper like Greater Kashmir to something in Kanyakumari, it doesn't matter. Something needs to go out under the name of CMC.
Tanu, for that, now we need to create events around CMC. So that gives you the base for content. A lot of people do not pick up authored articles, but they would. If the event is of substance, talking of a critical point, the pain point out there, that's easily gets picked up by various media channels.
So very good point, Neha. Every time there's a chamber event, okay, if one of us, because it's not possible for me to be there every time, or one person to be there every time, but if one of us can have a small little module on mediation in any event, you have an event like you had on shipping, you're having something on some other industry, a small little module, that itself is enough for us to give an entry into saying that mediation was discussed also as a dispute resolution mechanism in this event. So while the event gets publicity, mediation also, and then CMC also gets publicity. So wherever possible, whenever Neha is in touch, let us get even our friends, if necessary, to be part of these events and talk a little bit, even just a discussion point on mediation. Is that possible, Neha? For you to give a little, little headwind to mediation in every event of Bombay Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, ma'am, I can try and coordinate. And ma'am, actually, I wanted to figure out if there's a possibility of us as a committee doing our own events as well. What kind of events, if we can?
Yes. I think, in any case, events need to be done. So we need to have a yearly calendar of events where we plan for it. Like we did last year, which I don't think, everything we could do. But for example, we could have an event on MSME. We had decided we'll have an event on entertainment industry. We could have an event on the education industry and how to mediate. I could give you resources. The only thing is we need more participation, because alone I cannot commit to being part of so many events. So as a committee, we need to, kind of take lead in some event or the other and ensure that one of us participates or one of our larger set of people in the panel participates. Yeah.
So if anyone could probably volunteer for a subject, then we can coordinate and try to make
If
it.
you want to do something around MSME and you want to do it in Pune, means we can get a good crowd, and we work very closely with the MSME piece. If we can come up with
MSME conciliation is a huge thing. So, and because it's a start.
What I'll do, Tanu, is let me float a questionnaire to our MSME members, ask them what's the pain point when it comes to this, and we do a conclave or a round table around that, and we've got the facility to even host it. You've been here, so we can build it around that. So let's try and get a pain point from the industry that we are going to target, understand their pain point, and do the conclave around that. Then we'll have participation.
Great.
And if we have
idea, and we need inroads in Pune anyways. We have to move out also of Bombay, right?
And the RERA conciliation, they're doing they're trying to do a lot of work. But I don't know if we have members of Bombay Chamber of Commerce who are real estate developers. Because then again, educating them about how to use conciliation for a lot of issues that come around RERA, and training them and saying that we can also handle these for you. That becomes another chunk of people with the same kind of underlying requirements. It's just that I don't know how Maharashtra is, but data I can give you in terms of how it works and what happens, but I'm not there, so I don't know who you're, unless there's a CREDAI office there. Which is active.
RERA is raring in Maharashtra. So
Yeah.
RERA, which was formed quite a few years ago, and it had initially it had a dynamic IAS officer, Gautam Chatterjee, who set up conciliation as a must-do for all RERA.
Right.
Maharashtra has one of the finest ones. Okay, they have a fantastic rate of conciliation. And it just so happens that at MNLU, we trained every single batch of RERA.
Oh, nice. Huh.
Yeah, so at least till I was there, we were training. I don't know if they're still, because we had the MOUs with MahaRERA, and every year we were doing training. And in fact, one of the conciliators of MahaRERA was the batchmate of Nasir, I think, and he's the vice president of NAREDCO, not only CREDAI, he's the vice president of the National Association. So conciliation is very much entrenched. Conciliation is mediation is very well understood, and at that level, in fact, I am trying very hard to get Hitesh in this committee, Nasir, but I don't know, he hasn't responded to Neha.
I was actually going to ask you why he's not there.
Oh, I don't know what I told Neha to follow up. I don't know what. I'm going to ask him again.
I'll speak to him.
We should get him. Yes.
I'll get him.
So RERA, anyways, in RERA, there is no, because they already have a whole system of training, of empaneling, and of conciliation practices. So that's not something that we can ask for, because we can't take matters from them. They have their own conciliation benches. We can
No, but I'm
only
saying,
at
but you
best
can.
be a partner, but
Hmm.
even that is not necessary right now, because they don't have a pendency in conciliation which requires partnership.
No, but I'm saying if people want to do not get into the RERA route, and builders want to, do conciliation or mediation before a matter even hits RERA, you can take it at that point, because then RERA gets into a regulatory mechanism.
Yeah.
But if there are consumers or landowner developer disputes, etc., because if the developers know how RERA functions and know how conciliation works there, but they want to nip it in the bud even before it heads there, they can use.
So I think the best answer would be from Hitesh about, whether builders want to come in or no. But yeah, fair point. And let's talk to Hitesh now.
No, even mediation within communities. You have neighbor issues. So you have a developer who says, I have the 6th floor auntie and the 7th floor auntie keep fighting. So, within communities.
Nasa sir, just taking one step further, when you mentioned probably having a roundtable conference with the MSMEs that you are in touch with, I was actually hoping, I want to get, the low-hanging fruit. Probably speaking to trade associations both in Pune and Mumbai, either we speak to them individually or probably have a roundtable conference again. Not just MSMEs, because so one issue that we have faced is that the concept of samadhan, which gives free legal service, it becomes a question that I'm unable to answer to MSMEs, that why should they come to us and not to
So for
a
what
free
we'll do now
service.
for NEA, for when we create this for MSMEs, we will have a representative from the Deccan Chamber of Commerce. We'll have a representative from the Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce. So how how I envision the conclave is, you have a couple of keynote speakers kind of bring in. Then you have a panel discussion where you have some senior people, a couple of people from the Chambers of Commerce, couple of people from CMC, couple of other subject matter experts sitting. They first do a panel discussion on the pain point. Then we open it up to questions and challenges that these people have. Then what it does for us is, one, it gives us higher engagement, gives us face, and then gives us points to write articles and content on, which we can then print. We don't necessarily only have to use print media. One of the things that works best is LinkedIn. If you are able to kind of build a good following out there and build it out there, LinkedIn is a great platform that works. And we kind of post it out there, put blogs on our, I don't know if CMC has a website. I need to, my bad, I've not gone and done any research on that. If they have a website, what is the blog content on that? And build it from there. So we'll get those open-ended questions, we answer that, and you close it with a keynote speaker out there. Now, if you want to get the academic bit in, we can get the law colleges involved and tell them you write research papers on these topics. So you have research happening under CMC. So you can build every conclave to lead into a lot of research content, other things coming in, and we have FaceTime as far as print goes.
It sounds quite extensive and very interesting. I would
build it that way, and we will need more, obviously, hands on deck. Obviously, yeah, I don't think that 8-10 of us can be able to pull it off. We'll need more hands on deck. We'll need subcommittees. We'll have to build it accordingly. But I think the start is to maybe start with one event, see how it goes there, and get support from. I strongly believe we should get support from institutions. More institutions that come on board. You have, in a way, hopefully hungry people who want to learn and add value by driving that content. The students will be our biggest source of the ant army.
Right, sir. So as per our requirement, the DG has actually left the meeting, but he suggested something similar, but at a very small rate in Bombay itself. That was for GCs of different companies, since as low-hanging fruit, we have to communicate with different companies as well. So maybe that can be our pilot project. And if that works out, then we can go for a bigger conclave in Pune. So can I request your help in, coordinating at least the first, it can be like a 2 to 3 hour conversation where we bring in again a keynote speaker. The audience can be GCs. It will be like a free event. And
Bombay, Neha, I'm not that good with anymore. I mean, maybe 5 years back when I was still in Bombay, I had my contacts there. For
right,
me, getting this bigger event is easier because it's home base. Means
right.
I have all the resources, everything out there. So but what you let me know what help you need from me in that one. I'll be happy to support in whatever way you want.
Right. So I think first off, we can just talk about support. I can do the groundwork in Mumbai for GCs, but I mean, you've given me a very extensive idea as to what sort of a program we should work on. This is not something that we've done previously for GCs or any sort of people. So maybe we start there, and on the side we can work for MSMEs and trade associations as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. So then I think anyways, we should focus that our first attempt should be for MSME. Put all our resources together, okay, all our minds together on how to get this event going. And in the meantime, I'll anyways make a chart of 4 programs that we need to do this year. We are in October. So we should look at it, till the next September, we should be able to do 4 programs. But the first program, let's focus on MSME and let's target somewhere around Jan or Feb for this program. What do you say, Nasir?
Maybe even earlier, Tanu. If it's okay with us, what I'll do is next week, I'll just check with our CEO for the Center of MSME Excellence and the Chief Manager. I'll set them up for a call with us, make them understand what we are endeavoring to do. A couple of us can come on the call and we do that. And ask them, we could even target, we're sitting in October, so November end, December is good on that.
So Manish, you
can also give, because we've been doing a couple of conciliations for MSMEs as as council representing them in MSMEs, and currently I'm also sitting as a conciliator in an MSME matter.
Ekta, that can actually be a great case study through which we actually we use that as a case study as the invite, and that this is how we can kind of come in and make life easier for you.
Yeah.
Because they are very interested in knowing what's in it for them. Anybody, not only them, everybody. What's in it for them, and 2, how can they save time and because they don't have all the resources that the big MNCs have, and these MNCs really kind of sometimes strangle them.
Fair enough. I think then if definitely Manish, you have to be part of whenever this conversation is happening. Okay. And Nasir and Manish, if you could take the lead and develop this program, we are happy to help in any way. And Maulik, we can look out for your support in terms of, building the buzz for the event. Right?
Are you expected in Pune anytime soon?
You tell me.
I will
Just came 2 days ago, but tell me, yeah.
Let me try and set up also a meeting with Pankaj sir. He's the managing director and the president for the Lexicon Group, and also the managing director for Pune Mirror and Civic Mirror. So we'll set up a meeting with him and see what it means and see what we can do. You've already met Neeraj sir.
Yeah.
So Pankaj says the brother. We'll see what we can build and we'll get Pune Mirror on officially, then. Rather than us trying, we'll tell them this is what we would like to do. And we'll tell them what's in it for them. Like an event like this is also a revenue generating event for them. So, it can come under the aegis of them. So I will check with him when he's available, give you a few dates, and then according to your dates and his dates, we'll have a meeting.
Yeah, Neha, you can accompany me. Manish, if you're free, come.
That'll be nice.
Happy to come.
Yeah, great. All right.
And one more thing from my end. we have been working in one particular way for a while, where we speak to people from different companies one-on-one. So I was hoping to involve everyone in the committee. We'll provide a sort of a script that is ready. It's usually like the person who's part of the committee will explain about mediation, and I will handle if there is any question with respect to how the center works. So I want to increase this engagement that we have. So just wanted to let everyone know about it. And if there is any suggestion or any person that you think we should speak with, maybe you can inform us about them. And Pandha ma'am, if you could just explain to everyone the work that we're doing with NGOs and society at large.
Yes, so we are currently in talks with Trust Law and a couple of companies. I mean, basically Ambuja Cement, who is they want us to train some of their on-ground people who work with the community. And Trust Law basically works with they're an organization that works with several NGOs. So it's a large number of NGOs who who are interested in getting mediation skill training and association with CMC, so that they can get support for work that needs to be done at the ground level. So that's what we are in talks with both Ambuja Cement as well as with Trust Law. And as something that we are starting with on, I think the 30th of October, is that right, Neha? 30th of October, there is a program at noon. We'll send you the details where we'll be talking about mediation to this entire, to their, for Trust Law, basically a small little introduction program to introduce this concept. And if they are interested, then we would be engaging with them further. The idea is to have an association with them, so that we don't keep mediation as something that's only for the corporates, but we kind of go to the root level and also be able to share these skills for work that's done with the community. So that's the aim, and that's what we're working on.
And let's not forget that the mediation bill does cover community mediation. So we should not look at ourselves only as as a commercial mediation center. We should have a larger outlook, and we should be placed in a position where people think, no, CMC is good enough for community mediation too. Right? Definitely. I mean, in fact, I always thought, had they included some regular people from, regular walks of life in those very difficult community mediations of Ram Mandir, probably they'd have got better results. You need some commercial mindset, you need some community mindset, not just a religious or a legal mindset to talk about these things. So it's always nice for a very corporate backed CMC to be in that space too.
In fact, this one, Rohini Nilkani, her foundation does some work. So Krishna Uday Shankar is somebody who's a junior from law school and someone who I know. So if for those kind of conversations, Gandha, just see if she's somebody of value and want to engage with her also to see if at a community level we can add more value.
That'd be great.
We can also look at connecting with her.
Now, you mentioned Rohini Nilkani and you mentioned Krishna Uday Shankar.
Krishna Uday Shankar is the hands on ground. Rohini Nilkani runs the foundation.
I see.
So it's so.
Okay.
All right. So Can we close for now then? We have a clear-cut goal. We want to do something in December for the MSME. We want to do one event for the MSME. We want to publish an article on data protection and mediation, data protection law and mediation, which we should, our end goal should now be December. We are in October, so in the next 2 months, we should get an article published. We should design this event, and we should start drafting rules and start exchanging rules both at center level and at the state level, because we are trying to hold talks at both levels. All right, so let's start with just wish lists. We can always improvise and improvise. What we need is engagement, and for engagement we'll need to improvise again and again. We can't give a perfect draft which they will accept. All right, so Neha, we have 3 goals. You follow up and we get there, hopefully.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a good meeting. We get back. I think if we can set a target of meeting once every month.
Yeah.
And eventually, ideally, we should, like the Americans do, just set up a, like second Tuesday of every month at 5 o'clock or whatever. You all can decide amongst yourselves and tell me, and we can set that aside as our calendar date.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it doesn't matter. Ekta, does that sound okay?
Yep, that's actually better.
Because it just goes in the calendar then, Maulik?
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right then. So just, Neha, just find a proper, a date for everyone, and then let's fix that on the calendar. Once a month, huh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.